And a good Saturday afternoon to you. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. On this Saturday afternoon, we've cleared out, a lot of sunshine. Weather systems have now pushed past our region. Just a little bit of Great Lakes flurry action downstream, mostly from a northwest trajectory, and high pressure building in to afford us what should be some sunny conditions, regularly cold temperatures right into Tuesday morning. Current conditions across the U.S., you can see colder air with temperatures well below zero up in Canada. Some of that in eastern portions of Canada, mostly across western Canada. Some of that gets down into the upper Midwest. But mostly we see a jet stream with the thicknesses here at 500 hectopascals, generally moving in from the west-northwest, and that will continue. This flat ridge will force an area of higher pressure at surface, and that's going to bring us some fair weather right through Tuesday night. One little weak disturbance is going to rotate across the Ohio Valley, and a little bit of fringe effects making it into parts of southern Vermont, not till Sunday night. That gets out of here by Monday, so another dry day to follow then. One of the main things of interest right now is this upper level area of low pressure and surface low that's off the coast of Oregon and Washington. This is what's going to be tracking eventually as we head it to the east, and it's going to develop a lee hook panhandle type low, and this is going to track toward the Great Lakes, and then eventually we're going to see over the northeast United States a secondary low develop somewhere, looks like a Miller B type nor'easter. It may be a little bit too late before some warm intrusion makes it in, but if this locks in a little bit faster, it'll be all snow for us. Right now it's just too soon to say at this point in time. Let's take a look at the computer modeling. And here's the progression. You can see an area of higher pressure with no precipitation except a couple flurries over the Great Lakes. This is valid now into Sunday evening. You can see a little bit of that jet stream shear that's starting to produce a little bit of snow here. This is going to cut in the southern one half of Vermont during Sunday night, but it moves very quickly out and doesn't leave very much snow. Area of higher pressure, 1038 hectopascals up here east of James Bay, Canada, in parts of Quebec. And this will control or have the main influence. It'll drive much colder air into the region, and that shallow layer of cold air will become overrun by a warm intrusion. That warm intrusion, again, modeled currently by the European model. You can see it here with the main surface low still holding back near the Great Lakes, but some indications of a secondary surface low developing off of the New Jersey coast, kind of a Miller B nor'easter. Taking a look at that here, another 6-hour panel, you can see most of that precipitation that shoots north, and that surface low never really gets its act going except it's over Prince Edward Island there, and then finally it becomes the dominant feature. Once we get a little bit further out, this is beyond the period here, beyond 5 days. Here comes the next warm air intrusion. Unfortunately, this has a better shot of producing nasty rain and mixed precipitation types with less snow. Here's the eastern view of the precipitation types. We're going to roll through this really quickly. Here comes our little flirtation of light snow shower and flurry activity across parts of southern Vermont. It's out of here quickly. And then keep your eyes on the storm in the middle Atlantic, the Ohio Valley. Here comes the freezing rain, sleet. A little bit of that makes it into Vermont before it goes back to all snow, as colder air will be the dominant. And then we're scattering that out with scattered flurries and lake effect snow showers before high pressure builds in briefly. And we have this next unfortunate warm intrusion with mixed precipitation. Unfortunately, that is not a good sign right there. Going to rain and then eventually back to snow. GFS Ensemble will examine the parameters here. This is a 3-hour QPF showing where the main precipitation is going to occur. That's going to be on the 12th. And this is going to be after 12Z, which is 7 o'clock in the morning. You can see that increase in precipitation type here. How much? Total QPF brings us roughly about 1 inch with this amount here. You can see the 1 inch line over here, 1.3, and so forth. I think the European has a little bit less, but it's fairly in good agreement here. Now we're going to take a look at wind issues. At 850 hectopascal, roughly at the top of Mount Mansfield, you can see the strongest gusts here are around 50 knot jet, low-level jet, and some iterations thereafter, but this is the one that's going to be occurring in conjunction with that next shot of precipitation, as you can see here. GFS ensemble does not go above freezing, so it's indicating all snow, but there is some indications of the mixed precipitation types here, as I'll show you here. And you can see there's a little bit of potential for sleet, very strong potential, and that's what the European does show, and a little bit of freezing rain. We're talking about, 15% or so. And this is 2-meter temperatures, again centered on Montpelier, Vermont. You can see the warmest day is going to be this coming Wednesday. That's going to be on the afternoon of the 13th. Busy weather pattern supports a lot of precipitation. We have, I think, 2 storms, and that includes in the next 7 days, or 1.5. So you can see these amounts here, about 1.5, 2-inch amounts here in the purple and so forth. Main storm track, again, will be this lee of the Rockies, this area of low pressure in the plains. It'll take a track toward the Great Lakes and then spread most of its precipitation following it into most of southern and central New England, not as much in northern New England. Temperatures, warm versus cold, much colder up in the northern areas around the prairies of Canada. Warmer off to the south and east. We're at neutral right now. 3 days later, we warm back up a little bit. Climate reanalyzer showing those below zero temperatures up in Canada. Relatively cold coast to coast, almost coast to coast, a little warmer than normal in New England. This is from the surge of warmth that we had yesterday as measured by the reanalyzer here. And note the warming taking place now in some parts of the Arctic, mostly north of Alaska, the Barents Sea, and so forth. And this is looking at the state of Vermont. This would be Lake Champlain. You can see that Mallett's Bay is iced over, and a good portion of the lake is actually under ice, but this is the open waters. And this would be the Winooski River, the Lamoille River, the Missisquoi River, and so forth. This is the Connecticut River drainage. And taking this a little bit further down, a lot of open, non-snow-covered ground here in the darker browns and so forth, back down into the Berkshires. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, thanks for watching.